Okay. Good evening. Does everybody know what we here for? This is the UCLUG, Upstate Carolina Linux Users Group. I'm the original founder of the group, and I kind of ran meetings for the first 5 years, and glad somebody else took over, and I'm looking forward to somebody else taking over again in the not too distant future. But anyway, you know, for one thing, one real quick thing, when you think about it, the number of people, one of the things about this group is that there's always somebody who comes along to keep things moving and to keep the meetings going and get presenters and things like that. And if you look back, we had Jason. How long did you take that over? A couple of years?
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, it seemed like a long time, and then for quite a while, Eric was hosting the meetings, and John Yeary did it for quite a few years when we were out at AGFA, and part of the time that we were here. And we had other people that just Dave Nally for a while was helping when we were, you know, part of the time we were at AGFA, and he came up with the meritocracy explanation of how this group works. And it was the idea that if you have an idea or something that you want to do in the group, that if you get up and do it, well, then you have the authority to have whatever it is you want the group to do or what direction you want the group to go in, and you have the control over it. So hopefully we'll have somebody come up who really enjoys Linux, wants to share their knowledge, and wants to help the group get going. In the meantime, I'll fill in, but you will get very bored with me being the MC, I assure you. So anyway, for tonight, we have Yancy doing a presentation on, it's pretty much on computer maintenance with a kind of a unique theme, that kind of a country style presentation with the 7 chickens of
good computer.
Good computer. Okay. So without further ado,
let me make one announcement.
Oh, one announcement, okay.
Get started, I won't interrupt. TW Telecom, they're going to start a Cisco users group here every other month in the same location. And it may start next month. I'll make the announcement on the users group. But there's some pretty knowledgeable engineers. You know, they work for TW Telecom, so they might know something. But they'll come up from Columbia and head a Cisco group here. So we'll have we've got Linux, we've got Java, and we'll have a Cisco here to meet on. So it's worth knowing. Spread the news. When we narrow down the date, we'll make the official announcement on the list. But get the vibe out.
We have a rough idea whether it be an evening or lunchtime.
It'll be an evening.
Yeah, and if there are anything from Self that.
We'll be announcing speakers and schedule very, very soon within the next week. In fact, as we are sitting here, I'm finishing the schedule.
Yeah. Okay. So, without, unless there's any other announcements or any other comments or anything of that nature, I guess we'll go right into the presentation. You guys ready? All set?
Very simply, most of you know me as Yancy Smith, freelance computer specialist. What I'm going to present here tonight is called 7 Chickens. And even though you ain't here tonight, I won't give you credit. It was Mike, Majors. Mike Majors. He said, we need speakers, backup speakers, especially for the self-conference. And 7 Chickens popped in my head. 5-hour job. Now, 100 hours later, about 1,000 emails, and a lot of confusion. I finally got this working right. Trust me, it's been around. This thing has been around the world quite a few times.
I'll screw it up to the bait seats.
I'll bring it up. I do have to print a copy because it is quite complicated names. Some of this is boring, entry level stuff. Some of it is mid-range and advanced stuff that everybody can commonly use. So if you don't mind me saying that much, if you get bored, just wait a minute, you'll find humor. Okay? Alright, during the cycle, I'm going to take a little bit of questions afterward, but this side we use the common. There we go. During this, I will teach how we common chickens, and how we treat our computers. Visit, bake, dipset, dustbuster, nurse, and flamethrower. I do have I have a very humorous way of explaining this. The bed bear, one of my favorite cases is don't drink it, just raise them on chickens are fair, don't mince. Now, the answer to the question, what does that mean? Try to match the first slide with the second slide, see what you would think. Ask for help, keep it clean, no internal liquids, shock therapy, backup encryption, or use the enterprise firewall systems. I basically started in the computer, better applications, I forgot. The names of the places are changed to protection owners. And no, I don't pay chickens, I just let these some of the basic details on some of the sell up again, as I've been in this business ever since those Thomas Sinclair, many of my mom and know what that thing was. It was more or less a 4K computer that could watch my TV. Well, I'm using voiceover, if you guys don't mind me. It'll explain a little bit, but slow me down. Well, I got an election over put back on TV. Well, I thought one of these was going to show up. You want to take a little secret here, and I'll explain this in a minute. Now, as I was talking, I really got interested in IBM computers in general back in the 90s when I was taking CAD courses in college. And the mainframes that we had them on had a computer lab, a little 286, and I learned that. Eventually, they asked me to actually build computers, which that was fun. When we got our own computers for CAD work, I'm the one who found out they didn't have hard drives on them, so we had to send them back. When one of the other teachers found out, she sent me on this real interesting first case. And this one we call inquisitive and stubborn chicken. The teaching philosophy I use when I teach other people, especially clients, things that are new at this, is you really don't learn something unless you can teach someone else. Or as Bubba would say, you ain't learn that until you teach somebody else in your own family. Well, that's very true. Very, very true. No one person can really understand the entire family of computers, especially when you're starting this field. Think about knowing everything, the brain was exactly displayed, but there's way too many languages, cultures, and ideas even begin. Try to find your field that you can be really helpful as a key point here. So now the first case was an old gentleman, you guys might know, he's gone, Mr. Rock, say this. How many know the Griffin's Radiator Company down the road here in Piedmont? Is Hubert Griffin, he started the company, and a couple years before he died, the family called me in to help them arrange little computers, 38646s. The day I met him, I was in a little 10x10 office. He pointed at the printer and said, "You figure this out. I'm going to go find me some lunch." So the next thing I done was, I spent an hour in there doing every test I could think of on a top matrix printer. You know how hard those things are to fix to start with. I got mad at it, slammed the door on the way back out, went half block down the road to his little trailer, slammed the door, and this is what happened. I said, "You knew that printer wasn't going to work?" You know what he said? "Yeah, what did you learn?" Ask him, you learn what the hell. That's the first thing about computers is you need to learn. Ask when you don't know what you're doing. And he went like this with a newspaper said, "Find me another one." And I took my jaw to the floor. I kind of laughed at myself and worked with him for 2 more years after that. And I was the only one who was invited outside his family to his funeral. And that was a pure honor because there was a lot of people he went through that just couldn't even stand him. But he's a sin. The baked chicken is mainly about electrical currents. I'm going to unplug stuff. I refer to my client. Somebody got this mixed up. In 1990, I had this little black and white television, Gold Star, which we now call LG. A little Yogi antenna on the outside, a little big wire, a little cheap power strip between it, and then the computer. This is where it's going. When the thing lightning hit it, went through the Yogi in my TV while I was trying to unplug it, which was so bad, and it blew up the TV. Went went down the power strip and blew up the computer, which is on the deck, you know, you're not gonna do much about it, but it was just, I walked out, wasn't in the room going, am I still alive? Yeah, you're very lucky about that one. Well, when I took the TV apart, it had a 2-inch hole in the bottom, it was that big. I was really lucky to be alive, so the point is, electricity and computers are very finicky. Like any major electronics, they have a high and a low point. If you don't quite understand that, it's sort of like a water temperature thing in a hose pipe. You can learn when you're watching stuff. Electricity has a high and low point which each object use. And that's why it's very important to know when to unplug and to disconnect the computer. But simply, everything would have limits and brownouts and spikes of current. Well, you wouldn't think there would be that much being above 110, but my uncle here recently drilled into a little outlet next to his shop and ran 220 through everything in his shop, including the toaster and the coffee maker. Had to replace everything in his shop because the 2 wires would cross and burnt everything flat out of the socket. I've seen lightning chickens live like this when I'm working with labs. You can see the things in, you can't really fix them. All you can do is take the hard drives out and take the data off of them. Now, the main rule to remember is when you can see the lightning or feel the thunder, it's about time to unplug, especially your Ethernet cord. You may not think of that, but that's one thing that isolate the computer as much as you can if you're not really going to use it during a lightning storm, because lightning will come from anywhere. Also, just statically charge anything on yourself or anything you're using before you touch the computer, because it takes only 500 volts DC to ruin a piece of electronics. It takes 10,000 static volts if you actually feel it. So it's about 20 times as much pressure. Now, well, we're familiar with the GFIC, which is ground fault interrupt. If you're familiar with a hairdryer nowadays, you buy one off the shelf, but it has the little plug on the end of it. Well, what's that got to do with computers? Well, if you think about it, it'll keep too much going in energy going through your computer before you trip the circuit before it becomes a problem. GFIC is generally when the energy through the loop of the power cord does not have enough, does not go back through it and goes to the ground. It can be electrocuting an animal, it can electrocute a human, or frying a computer. That's when it shuts off. When it shuts off. The arc fault in the other instance is cords and plastics, especially old plastics, will have a tendency to crack and wires cross. That's where you create arc. They have an electrical circuitry now called arc fault interrupt circuits. Now both of them can be added to your circuit breakers in the wall, you know, like in the kitchen, you know, the little circuit breaker. They can be put into the outlets like that one over there, or they can actually be inside your extension cord. So does anybody have any questions so far? It's not the same as I thought it would be, but we'll try. But you got to remember, everything electrical has a high and low field. And if you go outside this range, you're either cooking or you're just making something shut down. That's a good idea. Well, that means that if the team or the Fido can be chewing cords, I wouldn't let it, because one, the cords are so toxic, the shock can kill. It may be a painful installation, but it's not going to kill nobody if you can call it GFIC and shut it off. And and it wouldn't burn down the house either, because an arc protection would be done. The thing, but what I found out with my research is ground fault interrupt circuits are now required in by law to be in kitchens, bathrooms, and outdoor outlets to keep you out from anywhere you think there may be a possibility of water. Put one there in the outlet level, and as well as most of the equipment. Arcs are now required at the bedroom and living room situations where the cord would be around something and could be chewed on to keep the arc from burning your house down. Oh, this is one of the ones. What's squirrel got to do with a computer? Well, if you think about it, they kind of can know anything you think of, and they'll destroy stuff easily. This was the particular case I love. Let me simply set it up. My driveway is right here. There's one power pole here in my mailbox, and over here is the other power pole. That particular one right there with the little transformer on. Every few months for the last 6 years, I've been getting this little boom sound and lightning. So where you don't see here is that tree was completely surrounded with two power poles. Every 6 months, you'd hear a boom and a specific light, and I'd be calling over the power. Ning, ning. If there's a fry squirrel in my yard, I think somebody down the street here is going to be complaining about your power. 99% I'm not right about that. But also, you wouldn't think that it was just cutting somebody's power off. If you look a little closer, there's a gray cord right there, a gray pole, and the first one right there. That is actually a feed under the road to the guy next door. And remember, one of the common causes fur balls got into that thing, took out that circuit, and blew up his microwave, radio, and about half his stuff. That's why we can't predict for everything. I mean, just absolutely clear. And the last time I seen one back about October, I told you better either be cutting these trees down. I'm gonna figure out how to, if it balls my side, you're gonna be looking at something interesting in the mail. The result is they had hired a contractor. We didn't know this, but back around Christmas, I hired a contractor, ABC, to cut down everybody's trees in the neighborhood from the top of the road to where I was at, about 5 miles down the road, 15 foot off center. I said, I appreciate it. You can cut anything you want to. Get them out of my way. The duplicate chicken. Now we're told often that we need to do it back up and back up and back up. Why? Well, hard drives fail, electronics fail, and backup pop. There's an interesting case. I did Windows more than I did Linux, but it still was a point. I was back having a virus one time and was trying to figure out where it come from so I could fix it. That thing bit back. Wiped out all my web pages on the system, and it was on a 98 machine. But this also good, if you think about it, what could actually happen in any environment. I had to wipe the system out and start over. That's why I played with that thing was. And even Explorer, and you wouldn't think about it, even Internet Explorer was so badly ruined, I can get a page up. That's when I started putting links on both my machines, so with dual boot. And I now do graphics, web development, a little backup stuff. And the only reason I'm not full-time links is I've got AOL as a dial-up connection. If I had some other way, I would love to have links full-time. Now, I explain why, but the tools are that most distros nowadays have cloud functions. Like the Ubuntu has their own cloud function. Brand I represent is SUSE. We have a backup function in the cloud. Most of them do have it now. But if you're not happy with it, there's Dropboxes and other options for you to use, as well as the built-in services of your own computer. Well, how would you duplicate? Well, you can use thumb drives, external drives, cloud services in themselves, or you can actually buy a hard drive for nearly nothing and go to like local computer store, like Computer Outlet. They'll sell you a little adapter you put on the USB drive and copy your stuff over. What most people don't remember is don't leave the hard drives with yourself. Get a trusted friend on site or a family member that you can rotate with them maybe every other month so that something happens in your system. You go back and find that stuff later. Well, it's going to extend a little bit into the nurse chicken, but if you're not comfortable with having your neighbor knowing everything you're doing, you can encrypt the files as you go along. I personally, as well, keep some stuff in paper formation and DVD formation. I recently had a client who was in a little netbook. I just made an extra copy of my tools hard drive and done his materials. But if he had a DVD, I would have used the tools off the DVD and get his computer clean. Very effective. And trust me, there's going to be days and times you wish you had copies of some of your most critical stuff, especially tax records and birth certificates. That was like you did some house phone with that old chicken. Yeah, but if you think about it, the truth point, the people need to keep their computers clean. Now we figured that what is wrong with this computer anyway? Well, this is a box here is thank you, Derek. I don't know if this is so good on the camera or not. Even now, this is a pretty clean machine, but if you look in the back of some of these intakes or the power supply, they get pretty dirty. Well, what's wrong with that? And I said, well, in the right circumstances, dust can be both conductively, electrically and can be flammable, as well as conduct heat. I've seen many of video cards, GPU and CPUs fry because what they'll do is the fans will cease down, build up the heat, and crack the ceramic out of the materials, because people don't think that in a CPU, a square inch has over 2 million transistors, maybe more. Like 1 million light bulbs going off in a single square inch. That's extremely hot. That can say upwards of maybe 300-400 degrees. That's going to crack something. And that's why you can kill a computer very quickly. Now, this is one of the worst cases I've had from a red tower. This is the first one I've had back in December. Now, we've had one back about 10 years ago where about 7 or 7 sides of that one right there, we had a red tower from an old golf course. He left it on the floor with a caddy jack. It sucked up red dirt. I probably could have made a couple of cats out of as much dirt as I've done. I was expecting to pull out some cans of dust. My boss said, okay, what am I going to do with it? I said, well, I'm going to go get some cans. He ran out the back door. That's going to be absolutely funny. Think about it. I didn't hear nothing, so I don't come back. I turned around, and he had gotten his electric leak blower and a plastic funnel and blew the thing out. David. But I mean, it was the way we hadn't cleaned it. You know, we didn't have the equipment then. We didn't have. So what's wrong with a vacuum cleaner? Well, vacuum cleaners cause a lot of dust things, but it also causes a lot of static. If you're not careful, you can use dust. You can use candy air. Once I got a hold of the company in 11, I'll show you in a minute. But the thing is, it can't be used. You can use this candy air you can get like Costco or Walmart. The only thing I want to warn you about is don't use them too close or too long on a surface. Because when they start frosting across the surface, especially with the computer running, it will, the differential of the heat temperatures will crack and ruin your equipment. Even some of the cheaper stuff I've seen in Staples, I actually bought one of these. It'll actually discolor and change the materials inside your computer. Well, how do I know what to do? Well, the thickness of dust, the simple dust, like the fan a while ago, you can probably blow it out. If not, you can just wipe it down with like a Lysol wipe or a dry cloth with no oily rags, please. Well, that's not going to work. You know, so and you can wipe it out and blow it up with other tools, but the red dirt tower show that common maintenance sense is going to tell you that when it starts smelling or you can't get something done right, clean it out. It ain't going to back that long. So it depends on what you want to do, whether you can or fan. Well, back in December, I got hold of another case of red tower, and this will come and show you why. It come off of a fruit stem, red dirt devil, in Gosling, Conference. Was slap full of red dirt, and I told her, I said, I can't fix this. If I even took all the dust out, I couldn't guarantee you it would even work. Well, she said, well, I got another couple computers. You can have that one. So I often think, I tried my best to even blow the thing out and straight, wiped it out, couldn't finish it, clean it out. I went to the shop the next day, and lo and behold, he has this thing. It's a coffee cup sized machine for about $60, which I'm wanting to get one of these days, not my birthday. And it will blow the dust out of everything. Or you can make a good sandwich out of that thing, Bo would say. Oh, your client, you think it'd be that powerful? Well, the only thing is that would both void the warranty of the motor and warranty of the product and the motor at the same time. So you got to watch what you're doing. The neat thing about this is it comes with very, very good attachments for stuff like that. It's test. It's not for blowing out dust. It's a cleaning tool. If you want to find a product like this, go to tigerdirect.com or the MetroVac site. It's the DC500 series box, and it's about $60 maybe now. Now we all know about common tools like extra chips, screwdrivers, things like that. Who would ever thought that you'd be carrying cosmetic brushes, zip ties, and cosmetic sponges? You really think about it, if you're cleaning and doing day-to-day maintenance or complex maintenance for clients, that's a good thing to have. I've even had to carry me how did he say this? So that's what the cosmetic brushes were for, and that old glue gun's there for. I said, yeah, think about it. I've had to glue stuff back together, and I've had to use cosmetic brushes to dust things out. You can tell what, if you use uncommon tools, that's fine. But as you also know that I do something else most people don't understand the tools, and that's to use these little Ziploc bags to organize myself, because the worst thing is to have a cable twisted up and tore up, or have screws all throughout the system and you can't find the one you need. So if you use little bags, you can get them at Walmart, wherever you can, even online. I think Derek's little company happens to sell some. Now, the nervous chicken. This is one that I'm trying to teach everybody very quickly, very safe, or I try to teach all my clients nowadays. And they don't believe it now. It's federal law, both mandate for both business and personal effects. If you do business with clients, friends, or family, you'll learn that this is very important chicken. Now, revolves chicken. The thing about encryption, safe collection, and backups. The basics of encryption, which most of you guys probably know, is it falls into two categories: file level and containment levels. A lot of us, I've used PGP or GPG, which is common one. The TrueCrypt is a containment algorithm, and then there are PKI, public key infrastructures, and passwords. The same thing about between me and Bob. It could be a document in his passwords. What's wrong with that? I said, well, that's not the problem. This is if you use, if I send him something like I'll send it there, if I send him an encrypted document, I got to send him the password to it. Now, somebody intercepts both of what you said. I don't really think about that. So what we use now is called public key infrastructure. And the conversation with Bubba went is theoretical. And theoretical goes and says, if I send you the file, the same with the password also, that'd be to me like sending you my house key and a letter saying I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks and Jack here's going to take care of everything I got. Not a good idea. Public key infrastructure, very simple if you understand how you do this, is you have 2 pairs of keys. The public key, which you can give or publish on a website, and then they pull it down and run through their email, send you anything they want to, but the private key stays in your system. And then when you need to email back and forth across the key sets, now it's pretty fast and pretty fair. You both send emails and encrypt documents or whatever you want and send them back and forth. The only reason why, and so, well, what's wrong with that? The common difference between PKI and passwords is PKI uses passphrases, where we used to send Bubba Jackson and say, Chicken Jacks was a password. When I picked Bubba Loves Chicken, it's a little harder to guess for. Make sense? And the key structure is not only 64, 120, or 256 kilobytes of memory. I'm talking about hundreds of thousands of numbers run through that password, through your key again, like a very strong file. Well, let's put it in real perspective. Bubba said one time that he says this, well, I think you bucks was money and you figure out how to get that money out. I said, well, yeah. Well, how'd you get the money? He said, well, I sent you my tax documents using your Bubba key through the mail to me. I'll take my private key, undo the work he did, fix the taxes, which I really don't do, this is just an example. Run through the program, find some money, and I'll send back through his public key. That means whoever's in the middle of the circle is not even getting around it. See, Jack's not in the loop. Even if he intercept the file, without the private key, either mine or his, the files are almost and totally useless if the 2 parts of the key are not working. Because if I even take Bubba's private key, and if I even had Bubba's private key without password, it wouldn't, I'd be able to get anything out of it. Make Bubba rich and me his money. The PKI is pretty good. There's also structurals like containments. PGP, mainly for disk, files. Each user must have a public private key and also can be exchanged into public services. Commercial PGP is a pretty good program if you need it for encrypting your entire disk, which healthcare, financials, and other people kind of do. So it gets a little hassle and it's expensive, you know, about $30, $40 a seat minimum. There are internet, you can use it with email, Windows, we call it PGP, but also I found out there is GPG, which Linux uses, can exchange keys freely. It's called GPG4Windows.org. And that is mainly for desktop files. What I like using when I'm doing a lot of complicated software or web development is containers. It uses a phrase algorithm also to control it. The easiest way to explain that is, instead of having to install sheets within my hard drives, what if I was only to dedicate half of it to a space, so there's something corrupted in this space, it wouldn't corrupt the rest of it when I'm trying to fix it, like a complicated tree or a bunch of files that I'm trying to contain and figure out what they are. Containment TrueCrypt can do this entire area as a file, a partition, or the entire disk at one time. And when I need to open it, it's just a little passphrase or password, depending on how long I want to build it. Sounds good to me, listening on no one be nosy. That'll make it true. Save click. We all know that or no, or should be talked down, not click on email. What about web clicking stuff or using social media? Because I've actually got several, especially the last couple of weeks, with social media such as Facebook and things. Oh, look at this clean file, look at this. It even goes so far to even say that sorry, I was on a trainer there. About this a little bit, is say, find this key picker and you go to a sign-in sheet and say, I need this person for click it again and go into the next page. And they just hijack you. When somebody sends me out, I will literally chew them out. I don't care who they are. Firewalls aren't much in the Linux community, in the Windows. Well, I won't say that again. Firewalls aren't as common in firewalls and antivirus are not as common in the Linux community, which should be still be used, but I use a lot in the Windows and Macintosh community. You have to keep them updated. I'm set a moderate settings because some stuff, especially Nord and then McAfee, which is part of Intel now, you have to make sure that they're set at a reasonable rate. If you don't like that, you know, you did keep it minimally or nominally and it works fine. This, you guys are gonna laugh at me. If you've seen this, don't pick the other guy, okay? Speaking of Jeremy, we know this one. And I can prove this one. The dust can be flammable. I was seeing, you know, a little bit bigger that box there from Gateway, 900 megahertz processor. I get boxes all the time from my lab. Didn't know what wrong with it. Nothing wrong with the board, nothing I could figure out what it was. The only thing I could have figured out is that the fan sparked the dust out of the charbroiled, if you want to pass that around. It charbroiled the dust onto the fence. You want some proof? Well, somebody had a barbecue on this thing. That's why we keep the fans inside the computer. And in a few minutes, I'll actually show you how to do this. It's not that hard. Whether you can, you fan, or you just actually wipe it down. I mean, you could look ridiculous about the way you do it. And why we want to do that was when this unit flamed, it burnt the memory with the discoloration and the video card all at the same time. The outside of the box didn't look perfect. Now, I've worked with barbecue chicken before, where they've been burnt outside and had to get the information out from the inside. This was the word for me. Listen, you can tell it's something wrong because if that's a normal CPU, you couldn't read the letters because that paper would be absolutely 3 millimeters thick. You couldn't see that. So it actually dried. It would slap out of that circuit. Yeah, pressed out. That's Gerber. That's a American chicken. I know, Bubba, but you think about it, that's going to prove the point. If you put the beer on either end of the chicken, it's going to kill it somehow or another. And you think about that. Oh, yeah. Why you want to do that? Just go on with me from here. You got to remember Mike, that old mechanic of mine, a friend of mine that's also plays in the garage. Yeah. Well, a couple of years ago, his wife left him. And she got wild and drunk and destroyed quite a few things before she left. Well, the last thing she did was she poured beer down the laptop I was running. And that's what I call beer battered chicken. He didn't tell me until about 3 4 weeks later when it couldn't be recovered. That's why I say foods and stuff don't exactly belong into the laptop, so they really don't mix. I mean, I know computers, especially getting a lot of things. I'm a over geek. I'm used to 15 hours a day on my computer if I could. But they don't smoke. And I've seen people who smoke around computers, you can literally just wipe out, make you nick a cigarette out of some of the stuff. They don't drink, especially beer. They don't keep your pets warm because they'll get fur balls in there. They don't like entertaining the children that much unless you got a child-proof mouse, so ones especially. And the last one I said, to solve unanswerable problems of, they know my world problems from squat sometimes, but I actually got the Watson on Jeopardy though a few months ago. They said it done pretty good. Now, the summary is, ask for your help. Use good power strips and battery backups. Don't forget to tell them about that one. Yep. I had this one power strip I spent $3 on instead of the $20 one. You know what happened? Every time I clicked the thing off, it clicked a circuit breaker out of the kitchen. Unplug your computers when you're really not going to be using them that much. Not only do they drain power, they can get hit by lightning. When you see lightning or can actually feel the thunder, start shutting down your devices. And you're going to see this many times. Back up and back up off with Serminian media, whether it be USB, DVD, clouds, spare hard drive. I've even got both the SATA and IDE trays in my machine, just scattering old drives at similar time. And external USB drives, external adapter stuff, things like that. Some of your most important stuff like names, numbers, do keep them written down because computers can fail out eventually. I mean, because I've seen hard drives cook on their own. Rotate and think off-site when you do these backups with friends, families, and co-workers. Keep your machines clean and back up regularly, which you can see. The reason I put 2 or more accounts is I'm starting to do this with one of my Windows accounts. I've had kids who clicked on the wrong thing, affected the entire computer. All they got to do was new current account, everything you have on Facebook, especially, and made another account and got it back up and running with 2 years. Keep your machine clean again. Computers don't eat real food. Get the hint. And the links are here also. The Metropolitan Vac Company. I do appreciate them. When I told them what I was doing, they sent me good photos. Everybody else had to beg copyright. And if you don't understand any of these, the Wikipedia articles and some other articles are out there available and freely open. And also, I want to thank IMSI for the old clip art files. This is an open CCI licensed SSA document.
Have you ever done a head transplant out of a bad hard drive to a good hard drive?
You have to do it in a clean room, almost environment. There is a way of doing it. I've never done that. There's looking back at some of the old computer magazines, especially what we used to call Peace of the World. There's data security. There's good data companies that will do that because they have to. I'm not sending back CD. I'm sure CD has the facilities in their town to do that. Because that, I don't say it does. It kills extremely bad on hard drives. We'll do that.
I'll do my first one this week.
There's an outfit that claims they can do it, but that's the lot of your range.
Really?
Yeah, there's an outfit in Anderson. You know what the pizza buffet is in Anderson?
I've never been there. Do they got dial-tone down there?
Are you familiar with? Well, you know where the
I've
Anderson.
been there twice.
Okay. Do you know where the Anderson Mall is? That's something like right.
Yeah, I know where it is.
Okay. Go by the Ford place, where the old Ford place feed by the old, come back from the mall, back toward 85. It's called Marketplace Cinema. You go by in there, there's Hancock Fabrics on the corner store. Just look straight across to the other plaza called GW's Computers, or I forgot what the outfit is. He does that. I'll get the number and call you.
Okay.
I'll call you more about it. Any other questions, comments, rants? I may have missed something.
Are you going to name a chicken after the movie Poultrygeist?
No, I mean, every one of these cases are technically real, whether I done it or somebody sticking their teeth to it does.
If I want to click on something, and I'm afraid that I'm going to go to some site that's going to maybe corrupt my computer or something, what's the best way to find out where that click leads you?
Okay, there's several places. One, you can copy, write down, or copy into a link in Google it or Bing it, and then it'll tell you whether it's a good site or not. No, this has a Viagra or sexual thing. You don't want to get an idea. But if you're a Foxfire, there's an application called World of Trust, and it'll have 3 different colors of circles. That's a red circle you made.
Web of Trust.
Web of Trust, World of Trust. Web or World, I forgot which one. Web of Trust?
Yeah, I use it. Web.
Thanks. But mainly I just copy and paste it into Google and see what Google thinks. If they can't find it, I'm not going to bother. If it says it's somewhat like this, then it's going to do that. Anything else?
How many friends do you have that get so much red dirt in their computers?
I've seen 4 cases of that so far. I mean, in my last 10 years, I've worked for I've worked professionally for 22 years now, but I've only seen 4 cases in the last 10 years that actually done this. I'm just using that as a point to say that anything can be sucked into a fan and kill a computer very quickly.
I got you.
Yeah, Yancy got the nickname Redneck from doing all that.
Oh, I will make one apology. I did order some DVDs and swag from my company, but apparently UPS thinks that it'd be safer in the thing down the road than it was here because they want to give it to me tomorrow morning. I've been fussing at them since Friday about that.
Do you have any video footage of kamikaze squirrels?
Not
Or a
yet.
good squirrel recipe.
That, now see, the tree was around that I couldn't have gotten it if I wanted to.
I want to see a picture of Beard and the squirrel.
That,
Works with Boston too.
Squirrel was pretty bad around here. I shot a squirrel in the vestibule of our church recently. Somehow they got in the attic and they made their way down into the vestibule.
Since we have our 2 pseudo MCs here, what's on the docket for next month?
I don't know.
I guess I'm ready for my birthday.
Yeah, you said you'd do it this week. You wouldn't be able to be here today.
I didn't think I was going to be able to be here, and I just got out of the hospital, so I didn't.
How you doing about that?
I'm doing better.
Sure. Donate an organ to prevent, presenting.
Yeah, I was out of the hospital. I was in the hospital for 14 days and got out. Was out for a day and then went back in for 10 more. It was fun. Character building experience.
Yeah. So you think you'll be able to do it next month?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. What was it going to be on again?
It's going to be about doing cross-platform development with a MIPS architecture. Basically discussing, how to set up tool chains, cross-compile, and do things like address GPIOs. It'll be kind of technical.
Would there be any underhanded jokes at non-risk processors?
No. No, this isn't going to be like Emacs 5 Flame War.
I don't know. We enjoy those.
Yeah. Every conference I go to that has lightning talk, somebody always gets up there and they always start an argument about it.
Well, I got a query the other day for someone called me up and asked me if I'd be interested in doing a 3-month project on it's basically a drive-through window. The computer screen tells you what you've ordered. I used to work for a company that did that, and so did this guy. He's got other contacts, and he's starting a new company to do that. So he wanted to get a brand new project, a brand new. He wants to compete with the old company.
New company? Do you get an equity stake?
That's what. Well, I told him I couldn't be able to do it. So anyone here knows embedded systems or point of sale, that'd probably be helpful and stuff like that. Let me know because he's looking for someone. Not well. It's not that he doesn't want me. It's that I don't have the time to do that.
If I'm going to put my Catbird evil hat on, I would say the cheapest and best solution would be to connect each terminal through VoIP to a person in India who actually who types out the order and orders it, and then it just rings out the cashier and empties out the
Some of the McDonald's do that. They have off-site order takers. I'm not kidding you.
Well,
but they're not in India, as far as I know.
Yeah.
They're in the U.S.
It's on Modern Marvels. They actually showed that.
Yeah, these mega drive-thrus they have. They'll have like 2 or 3 drive-through lanes for a single McDonald's. And
No. Before you get, do you know where the biggest McDonald's in the world is? Has 50 side-by-side cashiers.
I don't know, Dubai.
Good guess, but no.
China.
Getting warmer, but no.
India.
Getting colder, but no.
Fukushima.
I don't know. They just can't seem to sell any hamburgers there.
Red Square in Moscow.
Oh wow.
Really?
They sell millions of hamburgers in the span of like 2 weeks. It's ridiculous. 50 cashiers,
I
24
can't
hours
imagine
a
a
day.
line of 50 people that hate their jobs.
Yeah.
Standing shoulder to shoulder.
At minimum wage.
At some Air and Space, they got 20, and I thought that was amazing.
Yeah.
Is it like Walmart? Most of them are closed.
You ever wonder, like, you're a Russian?
Come forward and get your
You can look outside
capitalist
and
big
like 40 of
burger.
them are taking a smoke break and there's 2 registers open. It was like 150 people in each line.
Capitalist big dog combo number 2. Come in. Would you like some London fries?
What if they get frustrated like we do when they get an Indian on the phone for text? I cannot believe it.
So I forget the comedian's name is DC Vinny. He did a bit on that where he said, if I go to Pakistan, are all the cab drivers American? And do they laugh at you? Or they, he's like, you get in the cab, he's like, his name is Bob. Close window, you smell like cheeseburger.
When I was in Afghanistan, I was on this little base, and we had these twin brothers who worked for us as mechanics. And one would be working for us as a mechanic, and then the other one was training to be tech support for Dell, and then they would switch off every few months. So yeah, one of these days I'll call Dell tech support and get them.
What I tell anybody who wants, anybody who's just wanting a vanilla Windows machine, I tell them to buy a Dell, but to get through Dell Business, because if you call tech support in Dell Business, you get a call center in the United States, and it's assumed you're some sysadmin in a big company, and they want to get you quickly squared away and not make you angry. So even though and usually you don't even have to pay a price premium to get the business stuff. It just doesn't have fancy graphics on the side. It's just it's a beige box.
No interchangeable faceplates.
No.
How will my life ever be complete again?
God, I remember interchangeable faceplates on my compact from like the 90s. The one that had the spiral out on the front, and the front was bigger than the rest of the case, so it was constantly cantilevered back.
No, I get the Dell catalog for business. You can't buy those things for days without their permit.
My first portable computer was about that big. Had a little monochrome monitor like this, and this like AT keyboard that connected to it.
There was a clackety keyboard. Wasn't it?
This
Yeah.
is my portable computer. Got a handle.
Well, no, like everything snapped together. I can't remember what it was called. But
Needs more red dirt.
frankly, it was
Kind of
compact.
low tax.
I can't remember if compact made it or not.
A lot of newspaper or compact, because first ones who color flip out this way.
Yeah. Then I got a good systems laptop, and those things are awesome. You can throw those things out of a helicopter and they'll survive.
Does anybody need an AMD Duron?
Wow, Duron.
I know, I'm a generous man. I've been told.
Does that come with video footage of the original AMD freight train commercial?
So who posted
When they did the
the
Thunderbird
specs
1
for,
gigahertz, the train right beside the guy's
for the
bedroom?
request for hardware? Because I saw there the processor requirement was 100 megahertz or higher.
That's fine, you're,
Huh? Oh, what are the prices? Did you mean to put 1 gigahertz or megahertz or above? Megahertz. Okay. I've got some hardware sitting around.
because I have a sale to the south, it's been processed by our little get together meeting, like, we was at Costco a while ago, and I told a couple guys about the women's club. Jeremy?
Huh, what?
It's been processed in our little get together meeting.
I defer to Jace on that one, because I wasn't paying attention because I'm doing the
Get
schedule.
on the street and tell people about that.
Tell us about Southeast Linux Fest.
You do that, volunteer coordinator, because there's volunteers in the room.
If anyone has not gotten in contact with me about wanting to volunteer for the Southeast Linux Fest, I would appreciate it.
You got me down?
We can't remember what you did.
You have. I remember.
Jace, do you have my name down for that?
I think I do.
Yeah, 'cause
I think you sent me an
Way
email.
early.
I am.
I think two you did. You're obviously gonna be there. I think. Did you? You may. I don't know if you have or not. You probably.
I'll be there. You need me to do something?
What kind of stuff do you need people to do?
Well, I'm pleased to report for the gentleman with the driving skills over there that, courtesy of Southwest now having service to GSP, we don't have nearly as many people being shuttled to Charlotte.
Yeah.
Most of them are just to GSP now.
That's good.
You guys
Yeah.
provide a shuttle?
Yeah.
For our
Well,
speakers.
we have people coming in internationally, so
okay.
to
For our
speak.
speakers.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to invite all my buddies from up north. So.
They're welcome to come, but you know, they can hit
We
you
have
up.
taxi service, it's just not free.
What do you need done?
I haven't.
We need lots of people who can man a video camera and be there
Are we-
early to be trained how to use it.
We are going to do that again this year.
Yes.
I thought we decided against that.
It's a requirement. We have entered into contractual agreements with sponsors. It is not optional.
Can
No,
we,
but I mean that we were going to do it. I thought we were going to farm it out.
can India come in remotely?
When you say farm out, we mean to people who are talking to
Volunteers,
you.
all right. Gotcha. All right, so we need volunteers. We need people that will, besides the camera managers, people to just watch the room.
Should we get training on that?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
Yeah, you'll probably.
I might do it.
Ideally, we'll have at least 2 people in every room, so you have somebody who's doing the timing and somebody who's watching the audio levels and video tape.
right. And just generally watching the room too, for whatever reason.
And you provide the cameras, you have all that stuff?
Yeah, we're providing the equipment.
And then we'll need, just people to, things happen. Days before, we're going to have to put together SACs. We're going to have to network stuff. We've got a network person that's going to be setting up the network for our sponsors, our booths and such.
Yeah, our network may not be so terrible this year because apparently, even though AT&T is still the only pipe in the building, they actually dropped some DS3s in there, so we won't have to have 8, 10, 12, 6 megabit DSL lines to get a decent connection.
They dropped DS3 in the building?
Yeah, Marriott is now hooked up to a DS3. So and Kevin said there were at least 24 punch downs that were still active connections, just hadn't been deprovisioned. So.
Cool. I got you one right about that big. I don't know what it's purple, but you bring it with me. A little connection back here.
We're probably fine on equipment.
What?
We're probably fine on equipment because David Nally still hoards networking equipment like there's some networking apocalypse.
Like you get weird stuff.
He's the only person I know who can show up to a party and have Cisco routing equipment for at least 400 people.
That's a good thing to have people do that. I'm still in my little pin bag with me, so there's nothing going on. We still have a way to do something.
The backup we have is I have a desktop that has a huge, big, full-size tower, has a ton of NIC cards in it. We'll just put Viata on that if one of his 80 Cisco routers fails.
I was talking about 5D cables, SAP cables, a bunch of routers. No, David said not much about it. I just want to ask you, you ever know what we're going to do? Okay,
Nah.
my cable.
Only cables we'll run are Ethernet cables, and that's Kevin's probably going to do that. All you need is somebody with a wheel, set of crimpers, and a giant box and gray bar.
I would say.
Which is a block away.
Which is what?
Great.
Yeah.
Block away.
Yep.
You guys are gonna have token, right?
Not so much.
We're gonna have an
You have
upgraded
wireless
NIC card.
Yeah. Yeah, so sadly, Charter has serious pipes, but they're across the street and they refuse to jump the street for one weekend.
Oh, wow.
Because otherwise, for $300 we could have 100 megabit drop in there.
Well, that's sad because I love Charter.
I don't.
I finally got some hate mail from him. About copyright infringement.
Sweet.
Yeah.
My Charter uptime in the last 2 weeks is hovering right around 65 to 70%.
I've been using them for about 13 months straight, and I finally got an email from them saying, "Hey, you, stop doing that."
What are you doing?
Torrenting.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this:
I didn't bother to encrypt my connections.
How much were you transferring in a month?
Oh, I don't even want to think about it. It's a lot.
Sweet.
Like, there's no way I can keep up and watch it.
Do you live in a subdivision?
Yeah.
With open wireless? Hypothetically speaking, just as a point of inquiry.
No, there's no open ones, but there
Are you
are
on Charter Business or Charter Residential?
residential.
You say because mine's a business account in a residential area,
Oh.
and
I
would
need
think
to
that,
go ahead and get BIOS. I mean, I
your
work
house?
for Verizon, so.
Yeah, I'm running
But I'm still in a
running
contract
6
with Charter.
servers out of the house.
Now the thing is,
Charter said, "Yeah, sure, we'll set you up a business account."
If I get Charter sending enough of those letters, they'll just terminate my contract.
Office?
Home office.
How many letters?
Huh? I don't know. I have a friend who's gotten 3 letters, and I still haven't shut him off yet. But he said he has friends who have gotten
So,
shut off.
division pool will first off be smarter. If you're using BitTorrent, you're behind the curve. It's just true. You're familiar with RapidShare, perhaps? Okay, there's like a bazillion RapidShare clones. There's search engines that do nothing but search sites like RapidShare.
Yeah.
So instead of BitTorrenting, there's stuff like JDownloader and SlimRat, where you feed it 50 or 100 RapidShare links, and it cracks the caption and it keeps downloading automatically for you. No torrenting necessary.
Oh, I didn't know that. automatic capture.
JDownloader will crack every CAPTCHA except for Google reCAPTCHA.
Yeah, I've been using
But it's
BitTorrent
Java.
just because of EasyTV.it. They instantly, like,
Yes.
the second a show is over, it's on there.
I get Top Gear from them.
Oh, which by the way, I
Big
passed
Bang Theory and
on the way from Raleigh this past weekend. I passed the Top Gear truck, the History Channel's Top Gear truck.
They
I
were
thought-
the proper original Top Gear crew was actually the closest they've ever been to here in the last season they just filmed. They were at the Blue Ridge Parkway up in western North Carolina with a Mercedes SLS, a Porsche 911 GT3R, and a Ferrari 458 Italia. And they proceeded to make fun of the Blue Ridge Parkway. They're like, it's a great road, and then they start driving, and you see this $1 million worth of car driving at 35 because that's the Blue Ridge Parkway. It's like, so they all like leave the rest area. Let's go, and then you see the camera like from a mountain away.
yeah, they need to have the Gumball 3000 go through the Blue Ridge Parkway one year. That would be great.
Is it still the Gumball? I thought they renamed it to the Bull Run.
Oh, did they? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Red Bull sponsors the thing, and now it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg to get in anymore. But at $10,000, it's not that cheap either.
Yeah. Well, before it was like 30 or 40 grand, I think.
Yeah, Gumball 3000 was like $50,000 entry. You ever see the old movie Cannonball Run?
Yeah.
Gumball 3000.
It's ridiculous. Like one year they did it around the world, and they actually the world's largest plane is like Soviet built.
Yeah, it's got like 8 turboprops. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, they loaded it, like they where they drive somewhere in the UK, and then they hopped over to.
They started at
and
they started in London, then they went through the Channel Ferry, they went through the Channel, and then they went all through Europe, and they ended up in like the Mediterranean or somewhere.
Yeah, didn't they go to Thailand or something for part of it? Or
Probably. Yeah, they were all over the place.
it was ridiculous, and they ended in Vegas. No, not in Vegas. They ended in
LA.
Yeah.
LA.
It is basically just a bunch of ridiculously rich people.
Yeah, find on YouTube Super Speeders. It's the guy who owns Gotham Racing, which will loan you like Enterprise will loan you. He'll loan you a Lamborghini instead of a Ford Taurus. The rental rate's kind of high and insurance is mandatory, but it's a Lamborghini.
I love the VW bus that they stuck a Porsche engine in.
So one of the things he does is he does the Gumball every year, and he'll loan out a couple cars as well, and he'll videotape it, because one of the things that you'll notice that as they start in the Gumball, states a time zone or two ahead start mobilizing every cop they've got. And the worst was Pennsylvania, where it was like he was videotaping. It was like literally every 500 feet was a cop. It was ridiculous. Bridge, cop on each side of the bridge, and one on top with laser. It was out of control.
Yeah.
And so, and they don't even care about speeding tickets anymore. So he had his friend that was pulled over on the side of the road. So he blew by the cop at 140 or so. And the cop, the other guy who was pulled over had the videotape. And the cop's sitting there. And he goes, "Son, do you know how fast you're going?" His hat flies off. He goes, "It's your lucky day." And so they were also in some. They were also in some city in California that has a no chase policy. So they tested the no chase policy with a way out of control supercharged Corvette. And so they blew by the cop. They knew the cop was there. They had the radar on. They saw him from a mile away. Blew by the cop. Cop gets out and starts chasing him. They start pulling with him. They let the cop catch up. They floor it to like 160. You just see him fly out into the dust. They slow down again, let him catch up, blow away again. And eventually they floored it and kept it forward, and he turned his lights off. He said, "It's great too." He's like, "It's fun to not care anymore, and I know you envy me."
You know anybody at your job that does Android development?
No, we are not allowed to do anything like that. Conflict of interest. I can't even plug a network cable into somebody else's PC if I'm not on their clock. Apparently everything's conflict of interest. HR department pulled me in and had a very long discussion with me. And it wasn't even over anything I did after starting to work for them. It was over previous employers. So,
Who is he?
I work for Verizon.
So you can't moonlight the hate.
I can't even officially donate my my computer expertise to the Veterans Home staff anymore. I'm not saying that I installed a couple computers there a month ago, but
I mean, what's the
Not
what's the
saying-
logic with that?
well, because our parent company, Vodafone, owns
Say more,
companies
Vodafone.
that
AT&T of Europe.
you know, network security, you know, do contracting, stuff like that. You know, network installation, computer maintenance, things like that. So that's their reasoning behind it.
Say no
So
more.
yeah, it doesn't, and the funny thing is, it doesn't matter if I'm compensated or not. Just doing any of the work.
Like say you were volunteering.
That's the government without the top.
Do what?
That's the government without the top.
Oh, they're worse. I don't care if I was fired.
I'll be on page 80 by the time you get that.
So is hypothetically speaking, totally off the record, is Verizon going to offer the little air cards that they have, but for their 4G LTE with no limit? No limit, just like they have on their smartphone data plans for 4G LTE.
No.
I thought they just did away with the unlimited.
Do what?
I thought they just did away with all their unlimited plans. Didn't they?
Except
No,
for
no, no, no,
4G LTE on your smartphone. The smartphone itself has truly unlimited. It's not
Yeah.
unlimited when you tether, though.
Now, I posted something, I tried to contact somebody and told them to call me.
That would be me.
Okay, there are ways around that. Okay,
Sweet.
'cause basically what happens is when the phone connects to network, when it makes a data connection,
Jeremy, are you still recording?